Now here's the thing. Judging from my mailbox, many believing Christians are very aware of the criminal history of the church. But they excuse themselves from all complicity. The perpetrators of individual cruelties, mass abuse and wars of genocide and conquest were, it seemed, not real Christians at all. Real Christians could do none of these things because Christ, we're told, taught a message of peace and love and humility, even poverty. If only the church had followed the message of Jesus, none of those centuries filled with bloodshed and suffering would have unfolded the way they did. So by a quick sidestep, today's Christians wash their hands of any and all crimes, misdeeds and follies of their forebears. But let's take a closer look at this, because it is mighty strange that for more than 15 centuries and across all the world's continents, self-styled Christians have willfully or unwittingly misunderstood the message of their Lord and robbed when they should have given, punished when they should have helped, and murdered when they should have loved. So why have Christians always got the message wrong? Could it be that the message is rather less straightforward than many of today's more humane Christians naively imagine? Christians, that is, civilised by science and secularism. But let's consider Jesus himself. Jesus preached an absolutist belief of good and evil, with no shades of grey. Whoever is not with me is against me, he says. Those who believe will not be damned, but unbelief arouses his anger, his impatience, and his utter abuse. In Luke 19:27, Jesus calls for the murder in front of him of all those who refuse to worship him. Jesus pours forth a stream of invective. He threatens insatiable revenge, outer darkness, and an eternal punishment, explicitly stated at least 30 times. You love your neighbour as yourself, but only if he receives the good news. If not, shake off the dust from your feet, and it'll be more intolerable for them on the day of judgment than the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. Depart, says Jesus, into everlasting fire. Jesus calls his detractors serpents and a generation of vipers. He promises them a fire that is never quenched. In fact, his attitude is an assurance of everlasting torture. The Gospels are an immoral fraud, and Jesus is not Mr. Nice Guy at all, but an intolerant, vindictive, egotistical bully, just like the priests who invented him.